time for change, to unmask the truth, to unmask the rot in our communities. Unmasking the Truth will focus on the effects of corruption on women, prefer solution and demand for accountability. Unmasking the Truth will be on this radio station every first Monday by 5:30 p.m. And we ask you to join us to condemn corruption, to demand for accountability, and to work together for a better Nigeria. Unmasking the Truth is an initiative of St. Ives Communications in partnership with Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. At least 1 in 4 women in Nigeria has experienced sexual and gender-based violence in her lifetime. SGBV survivors suffer more due to delays in our judicial processes, sometimes due to injustice in the hands of corrupt judicial officials who take undue advantage of survivors, especially those at the grassroots. And in cases where the perpetrators are influential or wealthy people, they bargain with the corrupt judicial officials and justice is compromised. Leaving the poor woman helpless. A lot of rural women end up not pursuing the cases any further because they don't even want, some of them don't even bother reporting. And for those who do, when cases like this arise, due to fear and victimization, they drop the cases. Unmasking the Truth on your radio station today will discuss how corrupt judicial officials frustrate survivors of gender-based violence at the grassroots level from accessing justice, and how women at the grassroots are affected by this injustice. My name is Esther Alaribi. Unmasking the Truth is an initiative of St. Ives Communication in partnership with the Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. We spoke to women who told us how corrupt judicial officials have hindered them from speaking up against abuse and the violence they face in their homes and their communities. This is what the women have to say.
I have a friend that was almost raped. She reported to her mom, but her mom didn't take it serious because he's a family friend and the girl was destabilized.
It came one time like that, where they raped one of my friends. Now, so we go report for police station. As we reached there, them tell us to make we pay money to enter our statement inside. Them tell us to make we pay up to 10,000 naira. We still go another police station. Nobody. One of the officers tell us, say, even if they call the man, say, they settle us if we don't make case, but if we won't drag them, our life is involved. Now, so we take shot.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni ó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ rí ní àdúgbò wa ní gbé bàbá lówó kan àti ọmọ ọ̀dọ̀ ẹ̀ náà ló ṣẹlẹ̀ sí. Mo wá lọ sí àgọ́ ọlọ́pàá ó lè wá mú. Nígbà tí mo dẹ̀ débẹ̀ ó wá mú lóòótọ́. Bọ̀ ìgbà tí bàbá lówó yẹn tó máa fi dọ́dọ̀ wọn ó ti fowó dí wọn lẹ́nu. Àwọn agbófinró wa wọn ò dẹ̀ ṣe nǹkan kan nípa ẹ̀. So nígbà tí máa padà bẹ̀rẹ̀ nípa kéèsì tí mo mú wá sọ́dọ̀ yín ó dẹ̀ ní pé kò sí nǹkan kan tó bàbá yẹn ò ṣe nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ pé ó ṣe.
The hard women at the grassroots level face with the corruptible judicial system and the officials is devastating. Listening to these women in different languages, it means it cuts across. It affects women generally. The things that they've had to face reporting cases of sexual and gender-based violence or trying to stand up for another person. My guest today is going to shed light on how to address this menace. My guest today, I'm speaking to Dorothy Njemanzi, founder, Dorothy Njemanzi Foundation. How are you doing today, Dorothy?
I'm good. I'm very, very good. Thank you for having me on today.
Yes, thank you for joining us today. All right. Yes, starting off the conversation, let's talk about the obstacles that grassroots women face in the judicial system when it comes to accessing justice on SGBV, and how has this also affected survivors from speaking up?
Okay. I would say that the biggest problem is the fact that there's a lot of exploitation of the poverty level of those who are at the rural level, at the grassroots level most times, because many people there are largely dependent on their abusers, and then many of them, when I say largely dependent on the abusers, I'm talking from an economic standpoint, a financial standpoint, and because they're dependent on their abusers. So the question is, if something happens, are the abusers going to be willing to hear something like this? I'm sorry, I beg, give me money, make I go report you to police because of what you are doing me, or give me money, I want to go to the hospital. This is for in some cases, it's people who expect even up to sanitary pads if they, from the abusers, if they have good behavior, depending on the judgment of the abusers. And I'm talking about the abusers from the standpoint of the fact that we're considering those who are facing abuse, right? So I've talked about the fact that poverty is a major inhibiting factor. And then aside poverty, the fact that people do not know legal provisions and procedures is a very big problem. Because if so many people even knew that they had the opportunity to speak up, or it was their right to speak up, they won't keep managing a lot of situations they do manage. They would just speak up already. They would reach out. If people knew that they didn't need to be the ones bringing the money for several things, they would just speak up already, And so that's a very big problem that we've noticed. A lot of people do not know legal provisions and legal procedures, and it has really inhibited, access. And how does this become a problem? When they reach out, if they do, the first thing they're told is, you came with a broken head. What thing you do, sir, would make and break your head like this? The issue is not what you do to make your head break like this. The issue is that there's a Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act that prohibits anybody from even threatening to break your head, let alone actually breaking your head. And so upon citing that, they should actually take action. As if you knew, as if we knew that this was going to come up. Last week here in Abuja, there was a situation of a woman who was beaten up by her landlord, the landlord or landlady, something of the sort. And the person, in addition to beating, set a dog on the woman. Now, the woman went to go and report to police. Having gone to police station, police sent one person, one officer. Of course, sending one officer would be because of the woman's status, right? If it was certain people, they would send a team of officers to respond. I'm now pointing out the disparity in
response.
In service provision because of social
status.
Now, one police officer was sent, and the landlady, upon citing the person, went and released the dog. And since today, the police has not gone back to the place. The woman is begging that we help to, help to get out justice, whatever justice means to her. But what made me bring that out is the fact that in certain other clans, even if it was a band of dogs, if it was a person complaining that had better a higher status or perception of higher status, let me not say higher status, perception of higher status by the law enforcement officer, those dogs would not be a limiting factor. Something would, the dogs and the human beings will be brought to book, right? So I'm just using this to point out the physical barriers and everything. Now, the law enforcement officers are duty bound to take action to help the woman. I would have expected that by at least today, the law enforcement should have gone to a closest court or something to procure some kind of permit to take down the dogs, since the dogs are being used to break down law and order. But that's not going to happen because it's a poor woman. What is the cost of accessing police in many places in Nigeria? The cost of accessing police in many places in Nigeria, you have to pay for inquiry fee. Yes, before when you pay for inquiry fee, they hear you. They tell you how much you pay for file. They tell you how much you pay to invite people. In the last 1 week, I work with the Dorothy Jabanza Foundation. We had people who said that children were raped. And when they found out that the children were raped, they had gone to police stations in between just incidenting a police report and getting police to come and effect an arrest, 7,000 naira had been spent.
You can imagine.
And I'm talking about rape of 2 minors. In Nigeria, minors do not earn a salary. Minors do not have a means of livelihood.
True.
So I would never, ever understand why there's any form of payment whatsoever linked to minors.
All right. Thank you, Dorothy.
The fact that dynamics do not favor a lot of women because women are more lean, more tilted to depending on their abusers. So when you have police expecting money for file payments, and then if you need medicals, the police, you're also expected to pay for your medicals by yourself. How do minors pay for those? How then do people at grassroots level afford this? And I'm talking, when I say grassroots level here, I'm talking about those in the villages. So when you bring this exorbitant bill, the cost of high cost of justice, accessing justice in Nigeria, is just to scare the basic people away from justice.
All right, Dorothy, let's hear from more women. Yes, so you've heard it from Dorothy, and you can tell that this is a big problem that we need to address. Unmasking the Truth looks at the effects of corruption from the gender lens. Let's go back to the streets and get more comments from women on their experiences on violence.
There's this young girl that trusts me so much that she came to report her father's molestation to me because the father is well known in their community. I told her, are you confident when you get to police station, can you report? Say yes. So I took her to the police station. As they hear the name of the man, they say, we can't handle this case, so we are going to pay money. I remember the NGO, so I took her to the place. The girl is happy now.
Pastor, everybody knows, say, he they always sleep with small children. You go, they say you won't pray for them, but not lie. I go report for police. Thank God, say inside that police. If get one place where women, they talk matter where they worry them. Now, what you help me?
Sọ fún àwọn ọlọ́pàá wípé àwọn nǹkan fi tipá bá mi lò pọ̀ torí pé mi ò fún wọn lówó ọ̀rá dá sí ọ̀rọ̀ náà. Ilé ìdẹ̀ tí jẹ́ kí n máa sùn láti ọjọ́ yìí mi ò lè sùn.
Dorothy, you can hear what the last, you heard what the last woman said. She said she was sexually abused and she went to report, but nothing was done about this. And because of this, the trauma has disturbed her so much that she finds it difficult to sleep. So you see that there is a whole lot that we need to talk about in this. Now, how can survivors at the grassroots level actually access fair justice regardless of their financial status? And how do we also build the capacity of these women to fight back in the right way?
Well, the best thing that can be done is what civil societies do, is what Women Radio is doing. And that is continue to educate people on their rights. When people know their rights, then they know what to push for. When their legal framework in place, then it gives more people impetus to take action. So just continue engaging. And in this moment, I'll give you another typical example of a case that we have at hand right now. We had a lady who fell sick, but she didn't have money to treat herself. And at the end of the day, she ended up in Abuja, in the Jabi Lake area of Abuja. Okay. And she had been there for the past 8 months. But while she had been there, people made it a point of duty to come around and rape her. And she said she's not the only one, that every female who stays around that place knows that these things happen. In fact, when they push into vehicles and, they come and they try to have conversation with you, they push you into their vehicle. When they're done with you, they push you out. Till they stole her socks, they stole her slippers and her water bottle. It's as bad as that. But in this moment, this lady kept on saying that because she didn't know where to access help. She was finally brought to DMS for shelter, but she could barely stand or anything. And since we put her in the hospital up till now, we spent over 1 million naira trying to get her treated because of the different things that she has had while she was there. Now, access to basic health care, 1% of consolidated revenue fund is supposed to be, to get towards emergency services. I'll keep on saying it. The government needs to implement this. Sexual and gender-based violence is an emergency. The government needs to be responsible in providing basic emergency care services. I know that there are sexual assault referral centers. I know that there are one-stop centers in so many places, but they don't cover the services that all survivors need. And the distance to access those places, survivors do not have. So if we mean to support survivors, we must support survivors holistically. There should be a survivors trust fund. And I've just spoken about a victim of sexual and gender-based violence, right? Mm-hmm. It's important to note that our staff, our colleagues who have been exposed to this person are in critical conditions right now, critical medical conditions, because they are contracting, diseases. So when we haven't even taken care of the human beings that reach out to us, there is no structure in place to support those of us that support these human beings who reach out to us to get justice. Remember that we have not gotten to a system where we deploy robots. So the entire justice system is totally faulty. And if this person gets well, then it means that we would have increased conversations around safety of females in public places in Nigeria. But when it is not happening, it means, perpetrators are thriving on the fact that there's no accountability system in place. What is the system of punishing, police officers who do not take matters to the appropriate places? We still have a lot of forced settlements. We also still have right now something which I find very worrisome. Okay. The systems that NAPTIP operates, for instance, if you get to the place, you have to write a petition to them, amongst other things. Now, everybody is not able to write. Right. So who is the person that is helping them to write? Can't they have a system in place where they record you and, probably transcribe the recording, amongst other things? Because I'm looking at the power of agency of the person that is reporting, owning the narrative, the person that's reporting. And one thing that pained me very much, very, very, very much, I think at the beginning of this year, was the fact, or at the end of last year, was the fact that there was, a sexual violation reported by a minor against somebody who was sexually abusing her of the same gender. In that instance, police was accusing this person of lesbianism, and it was unfair to me. The police was threatening the minor of arrest. It still speaks to the quality of the services that the police renders, the quality of service that law enforcement renders. Majority of the cases reported for justice are trapped in law enforcement offices, in the legal department and investigation department of law enforcement offices. And then when it gets to court, they will threaten you with things and say, you want justice, can you afford to pay a lawyer? You are not supposed to afford to pay a lawyer. The police is supposed to give you a lawyer. The office of the public defender is supposed to give you a lawyer. Legal aid counsel exists because you are supposed to be able to access lawyers. And then when it's time for cases that threaten the lives of women and they need divorce, law enforcement officers take their hands off these cases and advise the women to go and look for private lawyers that can help them to process divorce, because government is not instituted to scatter marriages except law courts that have the power to dissolve marriages. That's very wrong. When the singer Otinachi died, everybody said she should have left to live. How do you live to live when you have such systems in place that are discriminatory against people who divorces or separations, legal separations, can save their lives?
All right, Dorothy.
We need to sensitize people on legal provisions and procedures to tell them that there are legal frameworks that protect them and there are places that they can go to. And we need to have people in place that offer services for free.
All right. Thank you so much, Dorothy. Unmasking the Truth on your radio station is an initiative of St. Ives Communications in partnership with Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. It is important that we hear more voices so that, yes, you can get clearly the picture Dorothy is trying to paint and what the realities of these women are like.
Some boys in the environment, about 3 to 4 of them, they gang up together and they wanted to sexually assault me. The boy's father is the baale of the environment. My father got angry and took me to the police station. When we reported the case, the policemen said they are going to do something about it. When we continued going, the policemen now said nothing serious they can do about it because the boy is the son of the baale. We should just find a way to settle things amongst ourselves.
Wà ní tòsí mi tó fi ẹjọ́ sùn mí pé bàbá òun máa ń fipá bá òun ní àjọṣepọ̀. Mo mú ẹjọ́ lọ sí ọ̀dọ̀ àwọn ọlọ́pàá. Àfi láti àwọn ọlọ́pàá ní kí wá mówó wá. Àyàfìgbà tí mo san owó yìí wọn lọ ṣe nǹkan tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe o wọn gbé ìgbésẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ yẹn àyàfi ìgbà tí mo san owó tí wọ́n ní kí n san ni wọ́n tó wá mú bàbá ọmọ náà tó ń sì mú lọ sílé ẹjọ́.
Yes, Dorothy, just to make the picture that you painted about law enforcement agencies and some security operatives, some of these cases staying in their office and not being escalated. So how do we sanitize our justice system of corrupt judicial officials and also law enforcement agents as well?
Well, I would say the best thing is to provide platforms that people who feel cheated by law enforcement, can speak up. I'm very worried about the different attempts to gag the users of social media, because social media has been used largely to bring up a lot of cases to the fore. I'm also worried that in the bid to bring up a lot of cases to the fore, a lot of people end up committing crimes. For instance, sharing a lot of inappropriateness around children, sharing their identities, amongst other things. These are things that, well, I admit that using the social media draw our attention to them, but it would be better if they are able to censor the identities of children. And it boils down to advocacy, spreading the word. We need to spread the word to all policy influencers, including community leaders amongst everybody. I mean, if everything a community does not accept, does not stand. You doubt me? Think about the Naira resistance situation. Think about the hoarding of Naira notes and how communities have cried out. And a lot of people are behaving themselves, or curtailing their, the fact they started selling the Naira, exorbitantly. Think about these things. So everything the people say no to is what does not stand. We need more people on our side saying no to these exploitative practices that exploit people who are uneducated, people who are poor, from accessing justice. We need a system in place to ask people, after you've reported a case, for how long did it take before you even saw, before you saw yourself in court? We need a system where people are able to tell us if they even know the name of their prosecutor when they get to court. Because it's a common practice that many people whose cases are taken to court do not know the names of their police prosecutor. That's a very big problem. If they don't know the name of the prosecutor, is it the name of the crime that is being charged on their behalf? That they know? Many people don't know the crime that is being charged. They just say, so the matter don't reach court. So they say, make I come this day. So I not get transport money, now why I not come? How do we practically support indigent people to make it to court when they need to be in court? Explaining the legal processes to them so that they are taking the best possible decisions.
All right. Thank you so much, Dorothy.
To do these things.
Thank you so much, Dorothy Njemanzi, founder, Dorothy Njemanzi Foundation. Thank you so much for masking the truth on corruption with me today.
Thank you for having me on.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, yes, you've heard from Dorothy of Dorothy Njemanzi Foundation. Survivors of sexual abuse should be able to get justice regardless of economic status. Our judicial system must be sanitized of corrupt elements who stand in the way of justice. We're calling on the government and all stakeholders to look into our porous judicial system for justice to be served on perpetrators of violence against women. Our women must be protected at all costs. If you have a story on corruption in your community that you would like us to talk about, please share your comment by sending us a text or a WhatsApp message 070-317-56537. Unmasking the Truth on Effects of Corruption on Women from the Gender Lens is an initiative of St. Ives Communications in partnership with Voice of Women and supported by the MacArthur Foundation. Thanks to the producer Omozele Omoren and executive producer Tom Okewale Shonaya. My name is Esther Alaribi.
WFM 91.7